Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be taking a close look at the career of Rogerio Nakamura.
Okay.
We've got his resume and his LinkedIn profile pulled up, and I think this one's going to be pretty interesting,
Yeah, looking forward to this.
especially for folks out there interested in entrepreneurship and global business and all the technical skills that go with that.
I think what's interesting right off the bat is how Nakamura's career really embodies this idea of global leadership. He's the industrial and operations head for North and Latin America at Seg Automotive right now.
Oh, wow.
And Seg Automotive is a huge name in automotive supply.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not just where he is now, it's the whole trajectory.
Right.
He started out as an engineer at Ford in Brazil,
Huh.
and then just kept going from there, taking on bigger and bigger roles at companies like Bosch before landing at Seg Automotive.
Yeah, and that kind of upward movement, it really says something about him and his dedication to learning. I mean, look at this.
That's pretty remarkable.
A BSc in mechatronic engineering, an MBA, a Master of Science in Industrial Engineering, and an Executive MBA.
Wow.
Not to mention all the certifications, project management, agile methodologies, even artificial intelligence.
It's like he collects degrees.
Yeah, you could say that.
But what's really interesting to me is that it's not just a list of jobs. It's a story,
I see what you mean.
This is a guy who can lead, innovate, and just succeed no matter what the environment is.
Yeah.
Like, look at his role in Seg Automotive's global consolidation strategy.
Oh, yeah, that's a great example of his strategic thinking. He wasn't just trying to keep things the same. He was part of something much bigger, shaping the company's future
Exactly.
and preparing it for a rapidly changing industry.
And it wasn't just about strategy either. He's also led business recovery efforts in tough markets.
Right.
So he can really roll up his sleeves and handle the operational side of things, too.
He's definitely not afraid of a challenge.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And what's even more impressive is that he doesn't just solve problems. He helps other people do it, too.
That's right. He mentors and coaches executive boards across Seg Automotive, sharing all his knowledge about innovation and planning.
And speaking of innovation, his LinkedIn title literally says Head of Innovation.
I love that.
You don't see that every day.
It really shows you how passionate he is about pushing boundaries and moving things forward. I mean, look at his work securing public and private funding for digital programs.
Yeah, that's impressive.
This is someone who understands how to find resources and make innovation happen.
One project that really stood out to me was his work developing a system to predict and prevent defects in manufacturing
Oh, yeah.
using machine learning.
Really impressive.
He not only found a way to use this cutting-edge tech to solve a real problem, but he also got the government to support it.
Yeah, that's a great example of bridging the gap between the technical and the practical.
Yeah.
He knows how to use machine learning to make things better, to improve efficiency and attract investment.
And then there's his work on logistics planning using AI. But what's really cool about this project is that he brought in a university and other industry partners to collaborate.
That's so important nowadays, working together like that. It shows you he can build relationships, share knowledge, and bring people together.
Exactly. And when you think about it, his experience spans Europe, Asia, and the Americas.
Wow.
Talk about diverse business environments.
That's incredible. That ability to be comfortable and effective in so many different cultures and continents, it's really valuable in our globalized world. It shows you he can adapt and bridge cultural divides to get things done. That comfort with different environments probably helped him when he was working with the World Economic Forum.
Oh, yeah, the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution.
Exactly.
That part of his profile really stood out to me. And it's not just that he worked with them. He actually helped to develop a whole new business model for innovation.
Wow.
And he even contributed to recommendations for public policy changes.
Now, that's what I call thought leadership. He's not just putting solutions into practice, he's shaping the whole conversation about how innovation happens globally.
And he's not just someone who sits behind a desk and strategizes either.
No, he's definitely a doer.
He's out there giving lectures, participating in industry summits.
He seems to have a real talent for explaining complex ideas in a way that's engaging and insightful.
I bet he's a popular speaker.
Oh, yeah.
When I look at all of this, I can't help but think that Nakamura could just as easily be thriving in a fast-paced startup environment.
That's an interesting point.
He's got that entrepreneurial spirit, but he also has the experience of leading large-scale operations.
You've hit the nail on the head. He's the perfect example of a T-shaped professional.
What's that?
He's got deep expertise in his field, but he also has a wide range of knowledge and skills that let him adapt to different challenges and environments.
So, like, he could be leading the development of some new AI-powered product one day,
Right.
and then the next day he's strategizing about how to enter a new international market.
Exactly. What's fascinating is that he's not just a technical expert or a business strategist. He's both,
That's a powerful combination.
especially in industries like automotive, which is undergoing such a massive transformation right now.
With electric and autonomous vehicles and everything.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget the human element. His recommendations on LinkedIn highlight not just his skills in leadership, but also his personality.
Oh, yeah. People seem to really like working with him.
It sounds like he's someone who can build relationships, motivate teams, and inspire others,
And that's so essential for any leader.
especially when you're dealing with global business and all this technological disruption. So for our listeners who are trying to understand Ruggiero Nakamura's potential, what's the key takeaway here?
I think it's safe to say that Nakamura represents a new kind of leader,
Yeah.
technically brilliant, strategically minded, and deeply committed to making a positive impact.
It's inspiring.
He's not afraid to embrace change, push boundaries, and lead by example.
He's a problem solver, an innovator, and a strategic thinker all in one.
And based on what we've seen so far, it seems like he's just getting started.
That's a great point. It makes you wonder what he'll do next.
It raises an interesting question for everyone listening. How might Nakamura's unique combination of skills and experience position him to shape the future of the automotive industry?
That's a big question.
It's an industry facing massive disruptions from technology, sustainability concerns, and changing consumer demands.
It really does feel like he's got it all,
I know, right?
Not just to survive in this changing world, but to actually thrive in it.
Exactly. And that's what makes these deep dives so interesting. We're not just looking at the past. We're getting a glimpse of the future.
For sure. His work with the World Economic Forum really made me think.
Yeah,
It shows a different level of thinking.
absolutely. It goes beyond just the bottom line. It's about responsible innovation, making sure these powerful technologies are used for good.
Right. And I was also impressed by his strategic approach to funding.
Oh, yeah.
He's not limited to just one source. He uses both public and private funding for his innovation programs. That's smart.
It shows you he understands the financial side of things, and he's not afraid to be creative to make things happen.
It makes you wonder if maybe someday he'll start his own company. Maybe something focused on AI solutions for the automotive industry.
Now that's an interesting thought.
Right.
With his experience, his network, and his entrepreneurial drive, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Maybe we'll be doing a deep dive into his startup a few years from now.
I'd love that.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Ruggiero Nakamura,
Okay.
what's the one big takeaway you'd leave our listeners with?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that Nakamura really embodies the future of leadership. He's brilliant strategically, he's got all the technical skills,
Yeah.
but he's also passionate about using those skills to make a positive impact on the world.
He's setting a great example.
He shows us that you can use your experience and your expertise to shape the future, not just navigate it.
Well said. And to our listeners, I encourage you to keep an eye on Ruggiero Nakamura and his work.
He's one to watch.
He's definitely someone who is making a difference, and I think he'll continue to do so for a long time to come.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was fun.